As the title said, this was an extremely quick session that I actually pulled out at the end of a day where I was fasting for about 24 hours. I cycled to work, I was on my feet for most of the day, and I cycled back home, and I wanted to get something done. I knew I was not going to be doing anything lengthy because my glycogen storage was probably extremely depleted. But I still thought that I was able to put in some low repetition stuff for movements that I was going to be pushing at a decent intensity range. So this is the first set of the big giant set that I devised for this unusual session. It started off with the heaviest movement, which was a ramp up of triples with chin-ups, weighted chin-ups. And then I went straight into some sissy squats. I did a good warm-up before this because I knew that the previous day when I went into a deep position with the sissy squat, while not very warm, I started feeling a bit of an annoyance in the front of my knee, and I wanted this to actually be a successful session with sissy squats. I did some cycling, so most of my legs were taken care of, and I really wanted to do some sissy squats because my posterior chain was wrecked from the previous day when I was doing these loaded walking lunges, same as the previous week. These are really tough on recovery, apparently. I was doing somewhat high reps, so 16 it was, so it makes sense. And then I was going into some overhead presses. I did 3 sets of 5, and I felt that they were all pretty challenging considering that I was kind of weaker from the day that just passed. This is the second giant set, so I took a 16 kilo dumbbells and I went up for another 3 repetitions. They were all controlled. I was fairly confident that I was going to be doing all of them with no issue. I did not really want to push it too far, and I was also feeling like a very good stretch at the very bottom. I was conscious about really extending the arms to the full length before pulling back up. So I was getting a very good stretch. This was not meant to be a workout that was gonna give me anything in terms of pushing progressions of any kind. I still wanted to do something hard, and going straight into these sissy squats, I was really feeling the fact that my glutes were still very sore, and even trying to keep a fully extended hip as I'm lowering down into the sissy squat was actually kind of painful. I was feeling it a lot in my glutes, and I was feeling it a lot in my quads as well, because as I lower myself down, there is a lot of tension building up in the quads, and then I have to explode back up. Just body weight at not even that deep of a range of motion proved to be relatively tough, at least tough enough for the state that I was in, and I'm glad that I decided to go for this rep range. Okay, this is the third and the final set, the giant set. I put 18 kilos on, and I went for another triple. I was very conscious not to overstretch my lats. I felt a bit too much of a stretch in the second superset, and I really wanted to go as deep as comfortable and then go up in as controlled of a way as I could. Very good repetitions. I feel that the technique was spot on. I was feeling it in all the right places, and ready to go straight into the sissy squats. After these, I was a bit tired, so I took maybe a minute before I went into the overhead presses. Overhead presses were actually probably the most challenging movement. After the third rep on all the sets, I was kind of struggling to get the last 2 in, but I was able to without any form breakdown. And even in this set that I'm recording from this side of the sissy squat, I see that I'm kind of struggling trying to keep my hips fully extended and my chest back. There is a little bit of a bend, probably because I wasn't able to. I was feeling the pain in my glutes more than I was feeling the tension in my quads. very good exercise. It's going to get added into the rotation. That's probably an isolation. That's what it is anyways. So last set on the overhead presses, and after this I was quite convinced that I had done all that I could. I believe that this was also a good workaround for this particular day where the energy levels were kind of low. Now it's time to go back home, eat something, sleep, and keep working on my revised schedule. Ciao.